So I like to think of addressing issues of algorithmic bias more like treating a chronic disease and managing a chronic disease than trying to target out an infection.
Hey guys, I'm Mac. I'm a tech reporter at CNBC, and it is such a joy to join Dr. Joy on stage.
Whoop, whoop.
Can you talk about the prompt transformation controversy at the heart of Gemini's image generation that's kind of been in the news lately?
Google released Gemini. Gemini was based on Bard, and this is Google's way of saying, we too have generative AI.
We've got ChatGPT too.
Right? And we're gonna do it better. So they released a model called Gemini. I think this one was 1.5, correct me if I'm wrong. And what people saw is for the text to image feature, when they would put in a prompt like, show me a pope, they would get an image of a dark-skinned person as a pope or a woman as a pope. But if you know anything about the papacy, that just isn't going to happen, right? You would also have a prompt for something like the founding fathers of the United States. It was looking like the Hamilton cast, reimagine, some melanin in there, It's like, okay, right? And then people started getting upset. They're like, where's the history? I'm being left out. Some people positioned it as Google now has woke AI. Others positioned it, that's how some people positioned it. Others said that they had over-corrected in their attempt to have the results reflect what they would say our global user base, right? They had gone too far. What I found interesting was how quickly they put down that model. When people said those who were used to being centered were now erased, because there's so many others who have oftentimes been marginalized and erased, and when those concerns were put out, we did not see the expeditious, to actually address what was going on. And so what I take away from this is the importance of a cultural audit, right? Because you have to know the intent of somebody. Maybe you are trying to do something like Hamilton and make a commentary, or maybe you're looking for something that's factual. You need to know intent. And all of this is to say that addressing issues of algorithmic bias and algorithmic discrimination is not that easy. You have to approach it with nuance. So I like to think of addressing issues of algorithmic bias more like treating a chronic disease and managing a chronic disease than trying to target out an infection. And so here you think about a continuous process. So what does algorithmic hygiene look like? I wouldn't shower once in 2016 and think I'm good. It just wouldn't make sense. So similarly, for the way these products are rolled out, it needs to be iterative, and it needs to have the perspectives, the historical perspectives, the cultural perspectives as well. Oftentimes the very people who aren't in the rooms when they're being developed.
Yeah, exactly that. Because there's this argument that technology is neutral, and you've got algorithms that are just essentially math, and math is neutral, so the tech is fine. That's problematic because of what you're just saying. The people who are in the room when you're developing the tech in the first place, there can be implicit bias there. There are a lot of conversations about data as an input, what these models are being trained on. Yeah. So let's talk more about what's happening under the hood, so to speak, in terms of promulgating the problem.
We're here to make a plan, and can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on your facial. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here